Today's episode is brought to you by our lead sponsor, Safe House Project.
Hey, this is Bailey at The Pour Over.
And this is Joe at The Pour Over.
Today, we're talking about the fallout from Wednesday's release of new Epstein documents, Trump's tariff rollback on hundreds of imported food products, Disney and YouTube TV reaching a deal to end a 2-week channel blackout, and other top news for Monday, November 17th. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with The Pour Over.
Here's your quote of the day. If we grow wiser and more learned in our intercourse with wise and learned persons, how much more will we gain in our inner life by communicating with God in prayer? Aldrich Zwingli. Let's get started with some espresso shots.
Wednesday's release of 20,000 new Epstein documents is still making waves in Washington. The fresh batch of documents includes correspondence, which does not imply wrongdoing, between the disgraced financier and former Prince Andrew, former Trump advisor Steve Bannon, Democratic Representative Stacey Plaskett, Larry Summers, who was Treasury Secretary under Clinton, tech billionaire Peter Thiel, and others. President Trump again denied knowing of Epstein's alleged crimes, a response to an email where Epstein said Trump, quote, knew about the girls, and urged the DOJ to investigate business leaders and Democrats with connections to Epstein, including former President Bill Clinton. AG Pam Bondi promised to investigate, quote, with urgency and integrity. President Trump also unendorsed Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, once one of his most outspoken loyalists, in her 2026 re-election bid, saying she's gone, quote, wacky. Greene says it's because of her support for further Epstein probes. While using good discernment and seeking justice, Christians are called to remove the log from our own eyes and treat others the way we want to be treated. That means confessing our own hidden sin and speaking with respect about others, including those implicated in the Epstein files. Matthew 7:4-12 says, how can you say to your brother, let me take the splinter out of your eye, and look, there's a beam of wood in your own eye? Hypocrite, first take the beam of wood out of your eye, and then you will see clearly to take the splinter out of your brother's eye. Whatever you want others to do for you, do also the same for them. For this is the law and the prophets.
Cheaper guac and lattes may be on the way. President Trump signed an executive order Friday rolling back tariffs on over 200 imported food products, from avocados to coffee to beef, to combat high grocery prices. The admin says these goods aren't produced in sufficient quantities domestically, and easing tariffs will help lower costs. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce agreed, saying the added duties had, quote, resulted in higher prices for businesses and families. Democrats say the rollback is an admission that Trump's tariff policies have hurt American budgets, and say their party's success in recent elections shows that voters disapprove of Trump's economic policies. The Trump admin says tariffs have been an overall success and has suggested the boost to federal revenue could fund $2,000 checks for many Americans. Regardless of whether the broader economy is struggling or thriving, Christians should seek to give generously of their time, talents, and resources to those in greater need. Reach out to your local church to see where help is needed. Hebrews 13, verse 16 says, don't neglect to do what is good and to share, for God is pleased with such sacrifices.
Disney and YouTube TV are back on good terms. and conditions after reaching a deal to end their 2-week standoff. YouTube TV subscribers were feeling some FOMO when Disney-owned channels like ESPN, ABC, and Nat Geo went dark amid a contract dispute with YouTube's parent company, Alphabet. But Alphabet and the House of Mouse came to an agreement Friday, restoring all blacked-out channels and even expanding Disney services available through YouTube TV. Streaming resumed just in time for college football Saturday, where number 3 Texas A&M survived a near upset against unranked South Carolina, making a school record 27-point comeback in the second half to edge out the Gamecocks 31-30. Off the field, a Texas state trooper was relieved of his game day duties after bumping into South Carolina players in the tunnel mid-game. Here's a verse to consider whether you're glad that your favorite team won this weekend, that your favorite nature documentaries are back in your queue, or that you sang your favorite worship song in church yesterday. Rejoice always, pray constantly, give thanks in everything, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18.
Human trafficking isn't just an over-there problem, it's happening right here in the U.S. An estimated 300,000 people are being trafficked in America right now, and most were first sold as children. Even when they get a chance to run, sometimes there's no safe way out, and they get pulled right back in. Safe House Project is helping children get to safety and stay there by equipping communities to spot trafficking and funding urgent escapes. They cover what's needed in those crucial moments: a way to escape, shelter, and resources for lasting freedom. Trafficking in the U.S. is at crisis levels, and requests for help to escape are higher than ever. Just $40 provides a safe ride that takes a child from captivity to freedom. Safe House Project can't miss the moment when a child is ready to escape, and your gift makes sure they don't. Give a child the way out. Go to safehouseproject.org/TPO or check the link in the show notes to give now. In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. The government is continuing the process of unshutting down. Over the weekend, the FAA eased flight cancellations at 40 major airports from 6% to 3%, and air travel is expected to return to normal before the Thanksgiving travel rush. Some federal workers have begun receiving back pay, and most states have issued full SNAP benefits for November.
Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman is making a full recovery after a fall landed him in the hospital. The senator was walking near his home Thursday when he started, quote, feeling lightheaded and fell to the ground, hitting his face, an injury that required 20 stitches. Doctors diagnosed him with ventricular fibrillation, and Fetterman thanked them for putting him, quote, back together.
The Department of War is sharpening Operation Southern Spear. Secretary Pete Hegseth named the already operating operation in the Caribbean on Thursday, saying its mission is to target, quote, narco-terrorists trafficking drugs in, quote, America's neighborhood. The location and growing scale of the mission, nearly a dozen Navy ships and around 12,000 sailors, are raising questions about Uncle Sam's plans to confront Venezuela.
A, quote, atmospheric river drenched Southern California this weekend, dumping rain at up to an inch per hour and triggering flash flood warnings in coastal LA areas recently scorched by wildfires. The system stretched from the Bay Area to the Sierra Nevada, where over a foot of snow is expected. Officials urged Californians to stay indoors.
Thousands of protesters took to Mexico's streets Saturday, denouncing crime and alleged political corruption. The Gen Z-led protests, sparked by the assassination of an anti-crime mayor earlier this month, turned violent when a group of protesters clashed with police outside the National Palace, aka President Scheinbaum's residence, in Mexico City. At least 120 people, including 100 police officers, were injured.
That's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening, TPO fam. If you're listening on the Apple Podcasts app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We're grateful for your support and hope you have a great Monday. Catch you on Wednesday.
Hey, Nate at the Pour Over here. I want you to know about a must-listen in my podcast queue, Theology in the Raw. Not every guest on the show sees things the same way, and that's the point. Listening to tough theological topics get hashed out from a variety of angles helps me to think deeply and love widely. Theology in the Raw tackles faith, culture, sexuality, and other hot topics with honesty and humility. With over 2,000 episodes and guests from across the Christian spectrum, you'll be challenged, encouraged, and reminded that you're not alone. Search Theology in the Raw on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.